Shalom, 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 shalom. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody doing good. Hope everybody doing well. Have a dope lesson going on today. It's going down. What's going on? Hope everybody doing good. Hope everybody's doing well out there. We're gonna get into a conversation. I get inboxed. I get inboxed frequently about. I get emailed frequently about. And so I think it'll be good for also for our congregation, our BOOM congregations as well. Some of them have heard certain aspects of conversations that I've had regarding this particular subject. And so I think it's important to just really look into this. And we're going to get into this particular conversation about Esau, and if Esau was the white man. I think the important understanding of this is many go on and they say, well, Esau is the white man in present tense. But I think it's important to understand before we deal with the present, we have to deal with antiquity. We have to make sure that we have an understanding about if we're going to say, is Esau the white man in today's time, then we need to make sure that Esau was the white man in past time. And so I think that's very important for us to do. I'm loving this Zoom thing. It's definitely been good. This is this is my second Zoom that I'm doing on here. So I'm trying to get used to certain things, and there's certain toys and elements to Zoom. And so I'm appreciative of, once again, Moreh for have. The only thing about this Zoom is you have to kind of have another device to be able to look at the seeing who's logging in and seeing who's commenting and things like that. I can't see it on the Zoom, so I'm gonna try to kind of looking at my phone. I have my phone here, so I'm gonna try to look at my phone and try to give some, see if I can look at maybe some comments throughout the lesson. I'm probably not gonna look at it all the time, but the thing is that very rarely that I'm doing lives, here publicly on the platform here. I've kind of faded away from it a little bit. But when I get questions, a lot of emails, a lot of things like that, whether it's emails, inboxes on Facebook. And then also if congregations ask questions, I kind of try to want to do this to kind of make sure that I be able to touch everybody at the same time, so that way I can have at least a video or something to be able to forward to them. So, so blessings to everyone that is tuning in and whatnot. I thank you all for inviting. I thank you all for sharing. So we're going to try to get into this lesson. Once again, as I said, this is kind of a conversation that I believe that if we're going to say someone is someone, it's the same way we do with Israel. When we begin to look at scripture or begin to look at or declaring that certain people are Israelites, then we have to go into antiquity and aforetime and look at the past and see, does the past transition throughout history and collide with what is going on in the future or in the present day. So looking at this, I think it's very important to look at and see if we're going to say that Esau is the white man, we need to look and see that Esau was the white man. And if we can do that, if Esau was the white man, then we maybe could be able to draw some closer conclusions. But if Esau was not the white man in past, that doesn't mean that that we have a direct correlation or direct answer to saying he's not or he is. There's a lot of things in between that. So I want to start from the beginning before we start filling in, before we get to the present day. We want to look at things in the past, okay? So thank all of you for joining. Thank all of you for tuning in. And so we're going to be looking at this and getting into this particular conversation. So let's do this. Let me share my screen here and we're going to go into this conversation, okay? So let's see here. All right, give me a minute here as we get into the conversation. All right. So the question is, we're looking at this from past tense discussion, and we're going to view this and look at it and try to base a scripture analysis on the particular subject that we're having that you see on the screen. We see on the screen the question is, was Esau a white man? Okay. And generally, this is what we generally see when we're talking to have a conversation, or you hear online, or you hear this particular conversation being had on YouTube or social medias and things like that. I think it's important to really look at this and really get an understanding. Let's look at scripture and see what scripture says and get a conclusion of it. Okay, so let's start here. All right, so we're going to go to Genesis chapter number 11, and we're going to line up some things here in Genesis chapter 11 so that way we can look and see the territory in which Genesis, a better sheet, is giving us a landmark of, we know that mankind started in what we know is today the continent of Africa. So that way we can get an understanding of what we're dealing with here. Genesis, or better sheet, chapter number 11:31, it says here, it says, and Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there. So we know the land of Canaan is where we know that the Canaanites foundation would be in that land. And no one would argue that the Canaanites were a melanated people. So we know that the Canaanites being a melanated people in that particular landmass, we see that Abram dwells in that landmass, okay? Well, they went forth to that landmass. So let's go here. So Nimrod, I think Nimrod is very important, that we need to really look at Nimrod. No one would argue the ethnicity or the melanin of Nimrod. So let's look at Nimrod here. Let's get to it. Ur was a city in the region of Sumer, southern Mesopotamia, in what is modern day Iraq. The city's other biblical link, excuse me, the city's other biblical link is to the patriarch Abraham, who left Ur to settle in the land of Canaan. So we're starting to see that, you know, many people, we're starting to see folks are dwelling and traveling or settling in the area where the Canaanites are, okay? This claim has also been contested by scholars who believe that Abram's home was further north in Mesopotamia in a place called Ur, near the city of Haran, and that the writers of the biblical narrative in the book of Genesis confused the two. So this is a conversation and a discourse and between scholars. Oftentimes scholars don't agree on everything, but of course, you know, that doesn't stop their work in you know, putting out literature. Let's see here. Whatever its biblical connection may have been, Ur was a significant port city on the Persian Gulf, which began most likely as a small village in in the Ubaid period of Mesopotamian history, 5000 to 4100 BCE, and was an established city by 3800 BCE, continually inhabited until 450 BCE. So now let's go to Genesis 1. We were in Genesis chapter number 11, so let's deal with Genesis 1, and we're going to trek our way all the way till we get to Genesis 25, so we can get an understanding of the question, and we can be able to come to a conclusion about Esau. Okay. Genesis chapter number 12 and verse number 1 says, "Now the Lord said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country." Now it's interesting that everyone at some point in time in life that you meet, they all will love to say that they pretty much have given an Abraham command. I love to hold on to the notion that Abraham claim is Abraham's claim. I don't think too many people get the command of go and I show. Sometimes, we do. Not saying that it's not possible. That's not saying that it is impossible. But I think sometimes people, exaggerate a little bit. And yeah, I'm on my Abraham journey. The Most High or God told me to leave my job and just go. And they forget that he told him to go, but he also gave provision for him. So we have to make sure that if the Most High is telling us to do something, that we do it and know that he said it and not our emotions, because after a while we'll find ourselves in a position where it seems as though that word that was given to us seems to be a little contradicting, because it's not a provision isn't being made as he told you to go. So let's look at this. Verse number 5 of Genesis chapter number 12. It says here, "And Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's wife, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan." So we see Abram is journeying into the land of the Canaanites, or where the Canaanites were dwelling, all right, or is going to dwell, either way, however you look at it. "And into the land of Canaan they came." So let's look at Sarai, okay? "Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar." All right, I want y'all to pay attention to this. "And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing." Notice this. Notice who she is declaring that is holding her from having children. Oftentimes in today's time, we blame so much stuff on the devil or whatever the situation may be, that oftentimes we don't view things. Sometimes maybe the Most High is restraining you from bearing children, maybe because you're not ready yet, or maybe because there's something coming along the way financially that's going to cause you a problem because you can't have children. All right. And maybe the Most High wants to hold that up for a period of time. But in this case with Sarai, okay, she doesn't view things from a demonology that many of us have in today's time. There's so many people have demonology more so than correct theology. And so let's look at this here. It says, "I pray thee, go into my maid. It may be that I may obtain children with her." Now listen to this. The Most High never told, and I don't want to be too long. I don't want to harbor on this too long, but because that's a whole nother teaching in itself. But the Most High never told Sarai to give Abram any advice on how to bring forth a child. So this is a situation between Abram and Sarai, who concocted this themselves. The Most High didn't concoct this. He already gave a promise. He didn't need to concoct anything. So this is their problem, their issue. And here's the thing: when you create a problem and an issue, the Most High is not obligated to bail you out, especially when you think he should bail you out. Oftentimes we create stuff and then we pray to the Most High. We say stuff and then we try to make something happen. And when it comes forth, we find ourselves in trouble, and then we're asking him to bail us out. He is in no way obligated to bail you out of something that you created. All right, period. All right, so let's look at this. Let's keep rolling. And Abram hearkened. So Abram listened to Sarah more than he listened to the Most High. Okay, Abram listened to Sarah more than he listened to the Most High. And Sarah's, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. Now, here's the thing I want to say. Why do y'all always make Hagar out to be a side chick? Can somebody explain this to me? Why does Hagar always become the teaching of the day as she was a side chick? She became his wife, couldn't bear children or have children, okay? Couldn't bear children or have children without making a covenant first. Do you see this? He made a covenant, they made a covenant together in marriage, and then she had children. She wasn't a side chick. I need y'all to stop with this teaching, okay? There's so many people out here teaching this madness about this side chick foolishness, okay? Like she was a side chick. Look what it says right here in verse number 3. And Sarah, Abram's wife, okay? Abram's wife took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So they couldn't have children for 10 years. And gave her, means Sarah gave Hagar to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. Okay? To be his wife, not his side chick. Okay? Let's please stop the madness. Okay? All right. Let's move on. That's a whole nother teaching. So let's look at this, verse 16. Verse 16 of Genesis. I'm sorry, verse 15 of Genesis 16. Better sheet 16, verse number 15. And Hagar bare Abram a son after they got married. Notice, we were just reading right here in verse 16, 16, verse number 3, they became husband and wife. In verse number 15, she had his children. So no, she did not have children out of wedlock. Okay, y'all stop this madness. All right. And Hagar bare Abram's a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old. And when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Now, what I'm trying to make a point here is that all these folks are black, okay? All these folks are melanated in some form of complexion of melanin. They go dwell in the land of Canaan with other black folks, okay? I just really want y'all to understand it. They all melanin to some degree, whether they are Steph Curry melanin, whether they are Kid from Kid and Play melanin, which is a little more lighter than Steph Curry, or whether they was my complexion, as you see our foremother, Sarah, on the screen, or they were dark, okay, as, who can I say, Iman, okay, the model. But it was melanin folks dwelling in the land of the Canaanites, all right, with other melanin folks. So let's keep rolling. This is going to make something very clear. So now Ishmael, okay, Ishmael is born by an Egyptian woman, which ain't nobody gonna argue that the ancient Egyptian melanin people. Abram is melanin, so therefore they got a melanin child. Okay, they have a melanin child. They have a melanin child, which is an Ishmael. He is melanin as well, because both of his parents are. So let's keep moving. Verse number 16. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Genesis chapter number 21, verse number 20 through 21. All right, so let's deal with Ishmael. Genesis 21, 20 through 21. And Yah was with the lad. Wait a minute. Yah was with who? Wait a minute. So, see, here's another problem. We love to paint the picture as though just because our forefather Jacob or Jacob had the promise, all right, we act as or Isaac had the promise. Just because one has the promise doesn't mean that the other one, that the Most High ain't with them. Okay, let's get something understood here real quick. Let's get something understood real quick. Just because you have a promise, that don't mean that the Most High ain't with your brothers. Even in your own family. Just because your mother left in the will that your brother or your sister get majority of the stuff, that don't mean that she ain't leave you with nothing, or that your mother or your father didn't love y'all equally. Okay, let's get this understood. People running around here talking all kind of crazy as though the Most High wasn't even with Ishmael either. He just ain't had a promise, but Ishmael, the Most High was with him too. So I need folks to get out of themselves and stop using these scriptures, okay, as a means of benefiting yourself as though the Most High don't care about creation. Y'all need to stop this, man. I'm tired of y'all coming on talking this crazy. I'm tired of seeing YouTube video, people talking crazy, people not properly exegeting the text, people are eisegeting without exegeting, people not even looking at it. You say line upon line, you ain't doing line upon line. You say precept upon precept, you ain't precepting upon precepting. All you doing is seeing what you want to see. That's what you're doing. You're seeing what you want to see. And that's the problem. This is the reason why we find ourselves in more problems than we know. The Most High don't need us to add nothing to his word. In fact, he didn't even create the Bible for himself. He created that junk for you and me and all of us that dwell upon earth. Same way he created time. He didn't create time for himself. He created time for you and me. The Most High didn't create feast days for himself. He created feast days for you. The Most High did not create a Sabbath for himself because he don't sleep. So he don't need a Sabbath. He don't need no rest. He didn't create none of this stuff in the earth realm for himself. The Most High don't need a garden. He ain't creating no garden for him because he's not a man. He's a spirit. He don't need to eat. This is what I'm saying. We folks need to stop tripping. You need to stop it. Okay, now let's get to this real quick. Genesis, chapter number 21, verse 20. Look what it says again. And Yah was with the lad. Yah was with Ishmael. Okay, he was with Ishmael, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. All right, this is a foreshadow. Okay, I want y'all to see something here. I want y'all to pay attention. This isn't a foreshadow. This is a foreshadow of Esau. Okay, I want y'all to listen to this. Pay attention. Esau wasn't the only one dwelling out in the field. Okay, Ishmael wasn't the first one dwelling in the field. Cain was out there too. Y'all not seeing the foreshadows here? You got Cain, you got Ishmael, and you got Esau. All three of them jokers out in the field, out in the country, out in the forest, out in the wilderness, out in the bush, out in the thicket, whatever you want to call it, okay? These jokers were that way. Abel at the crib. Isaac at the crib, okay? Jacob at the crib. Just let's look at this. Let's look at this thing. It's a pattern here. So look at what it says here. All right, it says, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. Verse number 21. Look what it says. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. He dwelt in the wilderness. That's the way he hung out at. He dwelt in the wilderness. of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. Hold on. See that? Everybody know that them black folks in Egypt, okay? In antiquity, it was black folk in Egypt, whether it was my complexion, whether it was the complexion of this Ishmael here on the screen, no matter what it is, them folk melanin people in Egypt. Now you got Ishmael, okay, is marrying another melanated black woman. Okay, this pattern here is about to keep going. That's why I keep trying to tell folks. Okay, so his mother chooses him a wife out of the land of Egypt. Let's keep rolling. Genesis 25. So let's get to this is the meat. This is the meat of the chapter. So let's get into this and let's look at it. Okay, let's get into this and let's look at it. Genesis 25, starting in verse number 20. For better sheep, 25 and 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to his wife. Okay, so we know what Isaac was, because we know what Ishmael was. We know what their complexion was, okay? Based off the landmass and based off the wives that they took. So let's keep rolling. Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Paddan-aram, the sister to Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord, or Elohim, for his wife, because she was barren. Here we go again. So here we go again. Same old process, all over and over again. The Most High doing it again. Cain in the land, in the wilderness. Okay. Who else you have? Esau in the land of wilderness. In the wilderness. All right. You have what is it? Cain. You have Ishmael, and you got Esau. All three of them hanging out in the wilderness. Okay. Then you turn around and you have Abram, and Sarah is barren. She can't have no children. So now here come Isaac. He marries another woman. Sarah can't have no children, but she didn't blame it on the devil. She blamed it on the Lord. She blamed it on the Most High. That he was the one stopping her from having children. Okay. So here come Isaac. He marries a woman with the same situation. Okay. Why is that? You know why? Because his father is the father of faith. That's the reason why. His father is the father of faith, and he has the promise. So guess what? Now his father becomes the father of faith. So now he becomes the son of faith. Okay, as well. So now his wife can't have no children. So he got to believe on the Most High, that the Most High gonna do that, gonna do his thing. And we already know what happens in the New Testament in the Brit Hadashah. Okay, so let's keep on rolling. Let's look at this thing here. All right, we're gonna paint this picture real good for y'all. So next time y'all hear this foolishness out here, y'all will get some understanding. Okay, so let's look at this right here. Isaac entreated, all right, the Elohim of his wife, for his wife, because she was barren. And the Elohim was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So the promise came by the power of the Most High. Okay, let's roll. Verse number 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, it is, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. Look what she says here. Notice, she went to inquire of the Most High. She ain't going out and inquire her sister friend. She didn't go inquire to nobody about what she was going through. She ain't go tell nobody her business like y'all do. Girl, I don't know why I can't have no children. And I don't know what am I to do, girl? What doctor can I go see? You got any suggestions? No, she didn't do none of that. You know what she did? She went to talk to the Most High, the one who is the giver of life. Maybe if some of us would do the same thing, maybe some of us can get the answer, the reason why we ain't had no children. Some of y'all said the reason why y'all can't conceive. And maybe the Most High shadow may overtake you, and maybe you will conceive instead of running to your sister friend. Okay? Instead of running to your sister friend, who probably ain't gonna pray for you anyway. Okay? So let's look at it. Genesis 25 and verse number 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations. See, here we go right here. See, soon as we start talking about two nations, the first thing you do is think. Your earthly mind start thinking all kind of crazy. All kind of crazy. Okay? When you look at the table of nations in Genesis chapter number 10, it says that all three of his sons became nations. Now, Hamites are not Shemites. But are Hamites white? Can somebody please give me some understanding here? You got three sons. You have three sons from the same woman. My mother had three children. Me, my brother, and my sister. And all three of us are the same complexion. Pretty much. My sister maybe just a tad bit lighter. See, your mind started drifting in all kind of foolery because you want to paint a narrative instead of letting the Bible, okay, stick to itself. Instead of letting the Bible interpret itself, you start going and talking all kind of crazy. Look at what it says. Two nations. You automatically think black and white. This don't make sense. This don't make sense at all. This don't make sense at all. Okay, so let's look at this here. Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people. Now, this is important because you had Cain and Abel. They were of the same parents, but they had two different mannerisms. Okay? They had two different mannerisms. One was in the field, okay? The other one was in the crib. They had two different attributes. One of them had street knowledge, and the other one probably had book knowledge. Two different mannerisms. Ishmael and Isaac, two different mannerisms, okay? One was in the field, loved to be in the wilderness, hanging out, just like Esau, just like Cain. And the other one, Isaac, was at the crib being baby boy. Two different mannerisms. Okay? Esau and Jacob. Two different mannerisms. And we're going to read here. Okay? We're going to read here. Look at what it says here. All right? Two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right, let's look at this here. Verse number 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled. Hold on, let me break something else down here for y'all. Let me break something else down here for y'all. For y'all jokers out there that's talking all that crazy sideways stuff that the Most High don't talk to the woman. Let me tell y'all something, and I don't care if you get mad, okay? The Most High talk to men. The Most High don't talk to y'all women. Most High, hold on. She could not have a child, okay? Her husband went to the Most High on behalf of her, okay, bearing children. But when the children started fighting, the revelation did not come to Jacob. The Most High she didn't pray to the Most High, and then the Most High said, well, let me, Jacob, where are you? Here's the reason what's going on in your wife's stomach. This is the reason why these two names. No, the Most High gave her the revelation. She knew what their promise was going to be and their destiny was going to be before Jacob did. Okay? She knew it, which helped play into why she even helped her son supplant our Esau, because she already knew what was going on. She got the revelation before her husband got the revelation. Let's read it again for those of y'all talking sideways out here. Look what it said. And the Lord said to her, not him. The same way the Most High told Eve in the garden about her seed and the serpent seed fighting. He did not tell Adam. He did not tell Adam. He did not tell Adam. He told Eve. So the first promise of salvation was given, the revelation was told to a woman in the garden. In the garden. Now all of a sudden the promised seed is coming. Okay? The promised seed is coming between Isaac and Esau, and Rebekah, our foremother, cries to the Most High, asks what's going on in me, why is this battle going on, and he give her the revelation. He did not give Jacob the revelation. Jacob got nothing first. Rebekah got it first. Okay? And that scripture is right here. You ain't got to do gymnastics and acrobats to get this understanding. Look what it says. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins, not two nations of people. Not two nations of people, man. They were twins. It didn't say nothing about, okay, all this other foolishness that they're trying to come with. And we're going to prove that even more. Look what it says. And there were twins in her womb. The first came out red all over like a hair. See that? We're going to deal. This verse right here got y'all in trouble. This verse right here got y'all in trouble. Y'all behinds are in trouble because of verse number 25. Verse 25 got y'all behinds in trouble. And we're going to deal with verse number 25 here in just a second, because y'all created a whole new doctrine off of verse 25. Off of verse 25. Verse 25 is y'all problem. And verse 25 is going to send y'all to hell if you improperly, if you're not interpreting it properly. Okay? This stuff is over. Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. Okay? Y'all can say what y'all want to say. It's a whole lot of bad theology in Israel. Say what you want to say. I don't care if you're mad, all you want. It's a lot of bad theology in Israel. And y'all got a problem. Y'all got a problem. You can't interpret scripture out of hurt and pain. You have to be delivered and healed before you try to teach this Bible. That's what you need to do. You need to go sit your behind down somewhere and go get healed first, then come back and try to teach. All this other foolishness, and you can't learn nothing by listening to 20 people. I done told y'all that for the past 3 to 4 years that I've been teaching on Facebook. I've been teaching on Facebook at least 4 years, 5 years on Facebook. However long Facebook Live been out. And I keep telling y'all over and over, I'm saying the same thing I've been saying from day one when most of y'all met me. You cannot teach the book out of hurt and pain. You can't do it. You got to be healed first. You have to be healed first. Get over the hurt and pain, however long it takes, get healed, and then come and teach. Because your theology can be taught out of your hurt. Your theology can be taught out of your hurt. And that's the wrong place to teach from a place of hurt and anger. I'm not saying deny the reality. I'm not saying deny the realities, but don't reside in that place of hurt and anger. Don't reside in the place of hurt and anger. I'm not saying, hey, this what's going on ain't wrong out here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying certain things ain't wrong. I'm not saying turn a blind eye to certain things. No, but what I'm saying is you need to make sure that you don't deposit the very spirit that you have into somebody else, because you're going to be held accountable for that if it's the wrong spirit, if it's the wrong ruach. Okay? If it's the wrong, we see all types of people out here teaching the book. All kind of folks. Okay? So let's look at here. Verse number 25, for the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So that was the name they gave him, Esau. Okay. So now we hear all the time that people always talk, well, you know, Esau was a white man because he was a white man because you can see through his skin. And you can see the veins and the blood in his skin. Let me tell y'all something, man. I got a child that's light skinned. Okay. My child came out the same complexion as this child you see on the screen. And you can see the veins through this child. Do that mean my child was a white man? No. Does that mean that this child is a white man? This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. Does this mean that this child is white? All because you can see the veins in his skin? It's a whole lot of folks out here that children that were light, that was born, and all of a sudden they were darker as they grew older. This stuff don't make sense. Now let's look at this right here, okay? Because this particular passage of scripture right here is also used to justify a white Christ and a black Hamashiach. This particular passage right here, you can find white folks to use this passage, and you find black folks to use this passage. Okay? His head, this is important, and his hairs. Listen, let's look at this. I want y'all to pay attention to what is going on right here. The Revelation 1:14 says right here, look what it says. It says his head and his hairs. Speaking as though the head and the hairs is two separate things. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention to this. His head and his hairs. Okay, so I'm drifting down in the comments. Okay, Apostle Darrell Fleming, we'll talk about that later. Maybe we can have a conversation about that or something like that, because that's not the root of the point of the lesson. So I think we should stick to the lesson versus having sidebar conversations. People are trying to learn. Appreciate that. So let's look at what it says here. His head and his hairs, which is very important. Okay. So let's look at this right here. All right. So let's look at antiquity of the Jews. All right. We're going to look at antiquity of the Jews. So we can get an understanding of this right here. Let's look at something. All right. Antiquity of the Jews, 1270. Antiquity of the Jews, chapter 1, 270. Let's read this real quick. All right, let me move my screen here real quick so I can read this and see. All right, cool. Now when the supper was got ready. Now listen to what Flavors Josephus. Let's see what he says about Esau and Jacob. Now when the supper was got ready, he took a goat skin and put it about his arm. Now, this is talking about when Jacob supplanted Esau. That by reason of its hairy roughness, he might by his father be believed to be Esau. For they being twins, we read that in Genesis, and in all things else alike, meaning that they were twins, they looked just alike in everything. They only differed in this thing, okay? They only differed in this thing. They were twins. The only thing that was different was Jacob was not as hairy as Esau. Both of them looked exactly alike. The only difference was Jacob and Esau, that Esau was more hairier than Jacob. That's the only difference. Look what it says here. It says, talking about Jacob, excuse me, and put it about his arm, that by reason of its hairy roughness, he might by his father be believed to be Esau. Okay? For they, meaning Jacob and Esau, being twins and in all things alike, differed only in this thing, because they were one was hairy and another wasn't. This was done out of his fear that before his father had made his supplication, he should be caught in his evil practice, and lest he should, on the contrary, provoke his father to curse him. So he brought in the supper to his father. All right, so let's roll. Let's go to the next thing. Now let's deal with this thing here. Now I told y'all to remember something in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14. All right. In Revelation 1 and 14, I told y'all to remember, okay, his head and, meaning separate from hair, head and, okay? His head and his hair was white like wool. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to something here. Now, let's go to Genesis 25, okay? Look at Genesis 25 and 25. Look what it says. And the first came out red all over. I got this highlighted, red all over. Can y'all explain something to me? Why doesn't it say red? Why doesn't it say red and hairy? Why doesn't it say red and hairy? Why does it say, and the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment? Now, when we read Revelation chapter number 1, verse 14, it says his head and his hair was white like wool. In this particular context of verse 25, it says he came out red all over. The red is in contrast, okay? The red is in contrast to the hair. The red is in contrast to the hair, meaning the red that is speaking of in this particular passage is talking about the red hair on Esau. It ain't talking about his skin color. It's talking about the hairs on his body. That's why it doesn't say his hair came out red. His hair came out red and hairy. No, it didn't say that. It didn't say that. It said the first came out red all over like. It's telling you that the hair on his body was red. It ain't telling you his skin complexion is red, okay? It ain't even talking about that. It's talking about his hair. Let's read it again slow. And the first came out red. Notice, all over, like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. Esau. Okay? Just pay attention. This what I'm saying. This stuff don't make no sense. This stuff don't make no sense. It's clear as day right there in the scriptures. But because brothers are mad, they angry, the white man. See, the problem is you looking too much about what's going on with other folk, and you're not even paying attention to what's going on with your own self. Even Big Mama had an understanding about certain biblical and certain principles, practical principles. You worry about your business and stop worrying about everybody else's business. That's a practical principle. And if everybody did that, okay, if everybody did that, then we'll be okay. If everybody followed that, then we will be okay. Okay, look at what it says. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Okay, so let's roll. Now let's look at Esau, and we're going to look into the Nelson's Bible Dictionary. Okay, let's look at Esau, Nelson's Bible Dictionary. Harry, Rebekah's firstborn twin son. The name of Edom, red, was also given to him from his conduct in connection with the red lentil. Okay, let's look at this right here. All right. Red lentil, pottage, for which he sold his birthright. See, this is another thing. See, and I heard this in the Christian church. I heard this stuff going. People love to talk about Jacob tricked Esau. Let me tell y'all something, man. Go read the Bible, okay? The Bible says that Jacob asked him for his birthright. He said, look, if you want some of this pottage, give me your birthright. If you want some of this pottage, give me your birthright. And Esau said out of his own mouth, man, I don't care nothing about this birthright. Give me some of that food. I don't care nothing about this. You can have this birthright. You sure? Are you sure you're going to just give it to me? Are you sure you're just going to give it to me? Man, I don't care. Here, you can have all this. Have all the, not, everybody understands that the birthright, that the blessing is connected to the birthright. That the blessing is connected to the birthright. Esau had already given up his birthright before he was born, man. He had already given it up. Had already willfully given it up. And it just fulfilled itself in time. Okay? Look at what it says right here. It says, right here in this paragraph, the circumstances connected with his birthright foreshadowed the enmity which afterwards subsisted between the twin brothers and the nations they founded. Okay? In process of time, Jacob or Jacob, following his nature bent. Listen to that. Following his nature bent, became a shepherd, while Esau, a son of the desert, devoted himself to the perilous and toilsome life of a huntsman. On a certain occasion, on returning from the chase, urged by the cravings of hunger, Esau sold his birthright. Not Esau got tricked out of his birthright, but Esau sold his birthright to his brother Jacob, who thereby obtained the covenant blessing. He afterwards tried to regain what he had so recklessly parted with. So stop talking about Jacob done tricks him. No. That's not Bible. That's not Bible in the Christian sense, and that ain't Bible in the Israelite sense. And I heard both people say the same thing. Oh, Jacob was a trickster. He tricked him out. Come on, I even heard the Nation of Islam. I heard Louis Farrakhan. Okay, I heard Mr. Farrakhan said that that Jacob is the white man and Esau is the black man, only because the white man is a trickster and Jacob tricked Esau. This is his whole basis of theology, that Jacob is a white man. That the folks in the land of Israel today, of Jacob because they tricksters and they done stole the land from Esau, the children of the black children. This stuff crazy. And then he turned around and came back later and said that the children of Israel are black. And so this stuff, I mean, this stuff don't make no sense, man. Okay. I'm telling, listen, let me tell you something. If y'all don't hear anything out of this whole lesson, stop listening to all these folks. I'm telling you right now, if you come to me with anything out, if you're a part of Boom or part of Boom Ministry, and you come to me with anything, any question about something or anything, a statement about something that Boom don't teach, that I don't teach, I'm going to ask you where you got it from. If you come asking me a question about anything, okay, about something that I know that we don't teach and stuff that we've covered, and you come asking me a question, I'm going to ask you where you got it from. Because you're listening to somebody, and whoever you heard it from, you need to go and ask them to explain what they teach. Don't come to me with these questions and come to me with stuff about what somebody else teaching because you listen to 20 other people. I'm going to turn you right back around and say, go back to them and go ask them what they mean. Don't come asking me because you running, your mind's so jacked up, you don't know what to believe. Don't ask me, go ask them. I'm telling y'all right now, I done said this. This ain't the first time me telling you this, saying this. So I'm just reiterating what I've said. Don't come ask me no foolishness. Come ask, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So let's look at this. All right. He afterwards tried to regain what he had so recklessly parted with, but was defeated in his attempts through the stealth of his brother. So let's go into the lexicon, okay? Let's go into the lexicon. Strong's H132, okay, admonish. So let's look at this. So we're dealing with this Esau thing, all right? So let's deal with it here. Y'all see right here on the screen, all right? You see right here on the screen. It's lexicon Strong's H132, admonish, okay? Let's see here. Red, ruddy, of Esau as an infant. Red and ready. Now, y'all already know. If you know your Bible, if you study your Bible properly, you already know that David was also considered ready. Okay, David was also considered ready. So let's get this out too. All right, David was also considered ready. So let's keep reading here. Okay, admonish or fully from H119, reddish, of the hair or the complexion. Now we know in the context in which we read the scripture, all right, it was referring to the hairs on Esau. Okay, it was referring to the hairs on Esau. So we already know that rules out complexion when it pertains to Esau. Now when you deal with David, it's the red or the ruddy is not in contrast or in comparison to hair because it mentions nothing about David being hairy. It's talking about the ruddy of his skin, of his complexion. That's the two different contexts of understanding. David is being dealt with based off his skin complexion. Esau is based in the red off of his hair and not his skin complexion. Okay, so let's keep reading here. All right, and look, it even gives the scripture. Red hair used of Esau, Genesis 25:25, of David in 1 Samuel 16:12, okay, chapter 17, verse 42. And this is based off the LXX or the Septuagint or the Latin Vulgate, okay? So let's keep rolling. Now, David, skin complexion is ruddy, okay? Now, we just dealt with Esau and his complexion, all right, dealing with his hair. So now let's look at David, okay, in contrast and compare to, all right, his skin color, skin complexion. All right, 1 Samuel 16:12, let's read it. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy. He was ready. He ain't saying his hair. It's not focused on that. Okay, it's focused on his complexion. All right, he was ruddy and with all of a beautiful countenance and God and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. Verse number 42. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy, fair, of a fair countenance. All right. So even Goliath was hating on him because he was a pretty boy. All right. He was hating on him because he was red, pretty boy. All right. So let's roll. Now let's go to Lamentation. Now let's look at the Babylonian captivity and let's deal with the Lamentations. Okay. Babylonian captivity, Lamentation 4, 1 through 2. All right. 1 through 7, pretty much. How is it? All right. How is the gold become dim? Talking about Israel. How is the most fine gold change? So it's talking about how did Israel change? All right. In their attitude, mentality, the way of life. The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion comparable to fine gold. So Israel compared to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of a hand of a pitcher? Now let's jump down to verse number 7. Look what it says here. Her Nazarites. Now we know Nazarites could be male and female, okay, according to Numbers. Nazarites were purer than snow, meaning it's not talking about they was white people. It's just saying, talking about the purity in contrast to white, beautiful, okay? They were whiter, all right? They were purer than milk, all right? They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was sapphire. So the Nazarites, even the Nazarites during this time, they were of a complexion of Steph Curry, of a complexion of Kid from Kid and Play, on the complexion of what's the other guy's name? Boris Cujo, of the complexion of El DeBarge. Even this is talking about during the time of the Babylonian captivity, the Nazarites all were light-skinned brothers, just about. They were all pretty much light-skinned brothers during the time of the Babylonian captivity. Okay? So we understand this is talking about not their hair, but we're talking about the body, the complexion, skin tone of the Nazarites during the time of Lamentations. All right, so let's roll. Just want to bring that out. Now let's look at this word, H119, okay? H119, red already is going to go back to Adam, which means it's in contrast to Adam. You got the Aleph here, okay? You got the Daleth, and you got the final Mem, okay? You got the Mem here. So you have right here, you have the, right here is the Aleph, okay? The Daleth, okay, which gives the D sound, and you have the Mem or the M sound, okay? Adam, okay? And you have here. All right. Some have a whatnot. So let's keep rolling here. All right. I didn't want to get into too much Hebrew. But let's look at it. It's flush or turn rosy. B, dye made red already. All right. So we already know that Adam, that David and Esau was all the same complexion. Well, Adam and David was the same complexion, but Esau, his hair was the color of Adam. His hair was the color of David, okay? Not his body, but his hair, okay? I've seen some brothers who have a brown complexion, such as myself, pecan tan, but have red hair, okay, on their arms and stuff, all right? So let's roll. All right, H119, all right, we have it here. Ruddy, i.e. human beings, an individual or species, mankind, an individual or the species, mankind, etc. So let's look at ruddy dealing with Adam, okay? Now we looked at red already in the concordance, but we're gonna look at ruddy, all right, in contrast to Adam, because red and ruddy, all right, can still kind of mean the same depending on the context. All right, extending the same depending on the context. So let's look at to be read, read, ruddy. And also we already looked at Nazarites when we looked at Lamentations. So we know that the Nazarites, okay, were of a lighter complexion during that time, all right? To be rubbed red, dyed red. This is very important here too as well. Red in, okay? Adam, to show blood in the face, flush or turn rosy, all right? So we know David was ruddy. He wasn't in contrast to red, okay? Dyed or made red, ruddy. So let's keep moving here. Let's look at mannerism, because they talked about Jacob and Esau having two different mannerisms. So let's get into mannerism, as I was telling y'all about these different characteristics of them when it's talking about mannerisms. It has nothing to do with what people are trying to make it out to be today based off complexion or skin tone, all right? Or that the white man is this, the white man Esau, red is the white man, and all that type of stuff. And then when folks hit y'all with what David was ruddy, and also red and ruddy can mean the same. Oh, no. David not, he not white. You're not the white man. David was a brother. What? You give people ammunition when you come out and you try to use the scripture one way, and then when they try to use it another way, you trying to use it as what David and him, or two different complexions, when we know that they both of those words can be used interchangeably. Okay, so if you're going to try to make Esau be the white man, then it give validation to anybody else that's saying that David was a white man. Okay, so let's read here. Let's look at the mannerism. A characteristic and often unconscious mode or peculiarity of action, bearing, or treatment. Idiosyncrasy, okay, a peculiarity of constitution or temperament. See, this is why I keep telling y'all, man, everybody need to learn each other's temperament as well, okay? Because sometimes you can misinterpret someone if you don't know a person's temperament, all right? Which is very important even within the body. Two things are very important. Okay, yeah, knowing who you are is great, but to function as a nation of people, or function as a kingdom of people, you need to understand mannerisms. You need to understand temperaments, okay? You need to know what a person's temperament is, and you need to know what a person's gift is, okay? These two things are very important to a nation and important to the body and important to the kingdom, okay? When you understand a person's temperament, you won't misinterpret them, all right? And you won't be saying, well, why she thinks she all that? Or why this person, they just think they all that. They don't want to talk to nobody. Well, maybe because they're more introverted, okay? People have temperaments that are introvert, just like you have extrovert temperaments, okay? But you'll misinterpret someone because you think that they all that because they don't want to talk to people, or they don't want to hang around a bunch of people, and that they only just seem like they only talk to themselves or in the corner about. No, that's their temperament. That's their temperament. You're misinterpreting them because only thing you're concerned about is culture, and you're not understanding that a part of the culture is a part of temperament. You have to understand people's temperaments. You have to understand people's gifts in order to flourish as a community. If not, it's total chaos and madness because everybody is tripping. Oh, well, why it seems like that person right there said they don't never want to just settle down and have things structured. They all just want to be all over the place. Well, that's their temperament. They're made up that way. Okay, and this is something that's very important to understand. Once you understand these things, then you can function and flourish as a community, as a ministry. You can do the work of the kingdom and not misinterpret people. People who have certain temperaments, all right, who seems as though they're not structured, most of them make the greatest evangelists because they are the ones, they're going to go anywhere. They're going to be all over. They trying to, man, why everybody sitting down? And the person that's an evangelist don't understand, or the person that don't understand a person's temperament that's more introverted, then they're going to feel like, well, that person don't want to go out and do nothing. All they want to do is just sit around. They don't want to do nothing. They always structured. And then it's chaos because everybody's misinterpreting everybody. Okay. And this is the same thing here. Okay. Temperament. Okay. Let's move here. And individualizing characteristics or quality. Mannerism, Genesis chapter number 4, verse 1 through 4. Look what it says. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Most High. And she again bare his son Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So you already see right there, it's going to be some temperament differences, okay, between the two, okay? And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Elohim, or to the Most High, or to the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the fruit firstling of the flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel, and to his offering. All right, so we go back here to Genesis 25, and I'm not going to read it all. Genesis 25 and verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter. It's the same thing that we was talking about with Cain. All right, two different temperaments. All right, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man. One was a man of the field, and the other was a plain man. Two different type of temperament, two different characteristics. Okay, you got some kids that are just hustlers. They go get it. They just really grind, and they get. Then you have the other kid. He don't want to grind. He don't want to hustle. Okay, he's more into books. He's more into science. He's more into mathematics and schooling and schoolwork. One child is an athlete. He's a sports guy, and the other child, even parents do this. They misinterpret the child's temperament. The first thing they do is they turn around and they say, oh, you need to play football. Your daddy played football. Your two brothers don't play football. You need to go play football. I knew a guy, he was great at football. He won, a top wide receiver. Man, he got a scholarship to the University of Georgia. He hated football. You know why? He was great at it skill-wise, but he was a brainiac. He was super smart, okay? Only reason why, because his parents pushed him, because they wanted, like, your brother could have made it to the NFL, but he had a knee injury, and your other brother was great. He led the city and scored in the state and all this other stuff. He went on to college to play football, so they pushed that brother to play football, but he hated it. He even got drafted. He only was in NFL 2 years, and he even afterwards, he said, man, I sabotaged my own football career. I said, what? He said, I said, what do you mean? He said, man, after the second year, I got released because it was on me. Then I get a phone call. My agent called me saying that such and such team wants you to come and start. He said, no, I don't want to play football no more. I did my 2 or 3 years to make sure my parents were happy. No, I don't want to do it. Now he's like a surgeon or something. Valedictorian in college, high school, all that stuff. He hated it. But the parents wanted him to do it because that's what they wanted him to do. But they didn't pay attention that his temperament was not involved in that. He didn't want to do that. He hated it. Okay? So let's look at here. All right. So what you see on the screen here, okay, this is what you would call lentils, okay? Red pottage. Notice that the color of lentil, brother, oh, well, see, you know what I'm saying? His name was called Esau, and you know, he was eating that red pottage, you know, the red pottage, you know, blood, you know, it was blood in it, and the meat wasn't cooked all the way well. Now, who you know on the planet that love to eat food with blood in it? The white man, that's right. So Esau gotta be white because of the fact that he loved the food with the blood in it. Man, when you go look up lentils and you go break down the word lentils and you go look through the study of lentils, that ain't got nothing to do with no doggone meat on no grill halfway cooked with blood running out of it. It don't have nothing to do with that, man. At all. Point blank, period. Okay? This is what red or ruddy would look like. This is what red and ruddy would look like. These mugs running around here talking all kind of crazy. Yeah, you know, only the white man like food with blood in, so that's what that red pottage was. And we so doggone crazy. We sit up there and we just buy into all this foolishness instead of doing word studies. Let me tell y'all something. At one point in time, we didn't have no choice but to be ignorant. In today's time with technology and information, We are willfully ignorant. And there's so many levels of traditions of men, even amongst Israel. We don't even talk about the traditions of men amongst Christians. But even Israel, it's so many traditions of men to the point we actually bought that because we did not study for ourselves. And this is one of them. We all believe that red pottage has something to do with blood and uncooked meat. We all bought that crap. We all bought that crap. But then you go do a word study. Like I said, I just showed you, we've been breaking this thing down for probably the last 30, 40 minutes. Okay? And this is what, let me tell you something. You go to any, you can go to any, probably, and I'm pretty sure Brother Philip, Deacon Philip on here can kind of tell me, vouch for this. You can go to some of the Arab restaurants. You can go to the a lot of the Greek spot where they sell gyros, and you could probably go to some of like the African restaurants, and they sell lentils. You go in there and ask them folks, okay, lentil, they sell this type of soup that you see on the screen here. You go ask them folks, talking about is lentils uncooked meat with blood in it, and watch how they be like, man, you don't get up out of here. If you don't get up out of this doggone store, what is you talking about, man? What are you talking about? No, lentils ain't got nothing to do with no uncooked meat with no blood in it. Go to any store. Those of y'all, especially in Atlanta, if you in Atlanta, go to some of these halal restaurants and some of these other spots where you go buy lamb at and go talk to some of these folks and see what they tell you. Man, you almost about to get your head chopped off messing around with these folks talking crazy out here. Come on here. All right, so let's look at this here. Let's say hypothetically that Esau was white. Let's say that Esau was the white man. When he came out, he was the white man. Let's say he did that. Hypothetically. Esau's first two wives were Canaanites. Okay, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Esau's first two wives were Canaanites. Because here's the thing, Esau is a white man who married Africans, who married Hamitic women, okay? Who married Hamitic women. Let's say hypothetically that he did, and they dwelt in the land of Canaan. Every time Esau had a child, he gonna marry another Canaanite African woman. By the time you get to the fourth generation, ain't no more white man, okay, coming through no Esau. Okay, let's get this stuff. Let's get this stuff, period. Okay, let's get this stuff understood off tops. By the time the fourth generation roll around and them doggone mixed kids keep marrying them dark-skinned African women, okay, like that, that's the complexion of this sister that's on the screen. By the time they get to the fourth generation, those doggone white children are no more white. By point blank period. This stuff don't make no sense. It don't make sense at all. Okay, now let's read. Let's roll here. Look at this, man. That's what I'm telling y'all. This stuff, man, y'all better start studying, man. Stop listening to all these videos. If you're going to listen to a video, you better backtrack and check behind folks. I'm telling y'all, man. All right. Esau's wives. His first wife was Adah, daughter of Elon the Hittite. See that? Elon the Hittite. We know that these folks are African, okay? She was called Basemath. Earlier in Genesis 26:34, his second wife from Canaan was Oholibamah, daughter of her father Anah, and the granddaughter of Zebulun the Hivite. Chapter 36 and verse number 2. She was called Judith earlier in 26 and 34. Esau also took a third wife, Basemath, daughter of Ishmael. Now we already uncovered and cleared that the Ishmael was black. We already covered that Ishmael was melanin. So now here we go, Esau, quote unquote, supposed to be the white man. He's marrying an ancient Ishmaelite who was melanin and dark in complexion. What you think gonna happen? This dude married all these sisters. He's a white man marrying all these sisters. So you think that it ain't gonna be no black Edomites? You think that ain't no black Edomites running around here? You think that some of these folks that you think is Israel might be Edomites? I'm telling y'all right now, y'all can get mad all you want to. I'm telling you right now, you can say whatever you want to say, okay? Some of these folks might just be Edomites, and y'all run around here and all y'all do talking about and the white man is Esau and all that stuff, and you loving on this brother or this sister who could well be a doggone Edomite. Telling y'all right now, I'm telling y'all right now, it's gonna be a lot of folk fooled and tricked on the day of judgment. I'm telling y'all right now, man. I'm telling y'all right now. I'm telling you, you better get yourself together. Okay, you better get yourself together. Okay, you better get yourself together. That's all I'm gonna tell y'all. Okay, you better get yourself together. Took for a third wife Bethmath, the son of Ishmael, all right, the daughter of Ishmael, and a sister of Nebaioth. She was called Mahalath earlier in 28 and 9. Then we are told about the sons of Esau. Adah bore Eliphaz to Esau. Basemath bore Ruel, and Oholibamah bore Jeshua, Jalam, and Korah. These were the 5 sons of Esau who were born to him in Canaan. Now, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something else here, okay? Let me tell y'all something right here, okay? Let me tell y'all something right here real quick. Now, this so-called white man, Esau, that y'all say this, that y'all claim is the white man, he done had all these children. Now, you do know that Lenny Kravitz, for example, if you just naturally looked at Lenny Kravitz and didn't know the history of Lenny Kravitz, you would have thought he was a brother. You would have thought that both of his parents were probably black folks. But because you know the history of Lenny Kravitz, that's why you call him Esau. But if you didn't know the lineage of Lenny Kravitz, you probably would assume that he was an Israelite. And you know what? You would love on him like he was an Israelite. And guess what? You'll take somebody else who's non-melanin complexion that you don't know their lineage, and they may have a brother that's their father and a mother that's white. And because they took on the mother complexion, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna call that put her in slavery. You're gonna put him in slavery. Meanwhile, old Lenny getting all the love. And guess what? You know what you're doing? You are not loving your brother as yourself. And that's gonna be your downfall. That's gonna be your downfall. Because you think you know who everybody is. That is the biggest problem that's going on. Everybody think they know who everybody is. This is the problem. This is the problem. Everybody God Jr. around here. Everybody God Jr. That's what y'all, that's what everybody is. All y'all God Jr. All y'all know y'all can do the Most High work greater than the Most High can do it. That's what you're doing. Because you're already putting people in hell. You can't none of us show our name in the Lamb Book of Life right now. I need somebody to go to heaven and take a picture of their name in the Book of Life right now. The ones who doing all this judging and condemnation as though they just sold it. They already been judged. They already in the kingdom. They already judged in the kingdom. They telling you who gonna be in and who ain't in the kingdom. I'm just serious. I can't take no chances with trying to be Yah Jr. around here. I can't do it. I'm not taking them type of chances. Y'all can do it. Go ahead. Go do what you're gonna do. Hey, fine with me. I'm not telling you to do. I'm not telling you to do what I do. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, and you do what you're supposed to do, and then we'll see how it play out. That's why I'm just telling y'all. I'm just telling y'all, cover all bases. Make sure that you're doing what he told you to do and not doing what you see everybody else doing. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's look here. Canaanite fathers. All right. So let's look at Genesis chapter number 10, verse number 6. And the son of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabtaka. The sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod. So we already know that Nimrod is dark and he's melanin. Okay. It ain't no European Nimrod, and ain't nobody gonna argue with you of that. But you know why they ain't gonna argue with that? Because he comes through the line of Cush. That's the reason why they ain't gonna argue with that. Okay, that's the reason why they ain't gonna argue with that. So let's look at it. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. So let's look at this here. Esau's migration, okay, which is very important. Let's look at this here. Esau took his blessing. Esau took his blessing that he had received from Isaac in Genesis 27, 39 through 40, his wives and his sons, and an untold number of daughters and all the members of his household, as well as his livestock and all his other animals and all the goods he had acquired in Canaan, and moved to a land some distance from his brother Jacob. Genesis 36 and 6. Therefore, just after Yaakov left for Haran, Esau surrenders the land of Canaan to Jacob. So Esau gave the land of Jacob because at this point in his life, he took the patriarchal blessing quite seriously. He understood that he must find his possessions away from the land of Canaan. And that is what he does. Or that is what he did. He moved southward into the mountainous regions southwest of the Dead Sea. Their possessions were too great for them to remain together. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. So you're telling me Esau sold his birthright, but Esau still had great wealth. That's what I'm trying to say. See, this is what I'm saying. Folk act like Esau just left with nothing and went into the mountains and ain't have nothing at all. Act like he ain't have nothing. No, it says right here, their possessions were too great for them to remain together. The land where they were staying could not support them both because of their livestock. Just because you don't have the promise, that don't mean you ain't blessed. That don't mean that the Most High ain't gonna give you favor. That don't mean that the Most High ain't gonna give you possessions. It's the same thing that we seen with Jacob and Isaac and Ishmael. The Most High was with Ishmael. He just wasn't a promise, okay? This is the same issue that separated Abraham and Lot in Genesis 13 and 6, okay? Esau, who became Edom. Esau, who became Edom, settled in the hill country of Seir, Genesis 36 and 8. There he subjugated a people called the Horites by force. Deuteronomy chapter number 2, verse 12 and verse number 22. But after defeating them, Esau's descendants assimilated them through marriage. Now, the Horites, okay, go look them up and see what complexion they was as a people. Go do that. So now he's mixing. So he already been started mixing. He started mixing with Ishmael's daughter and the Canaanites because Esau is a Hebrew. He's not an Israelite, but Esau is a Hebrew. So if Esau's a Hebrew, he's mixing, okay, with Canaanites, with Hamites, all right, and others. So now you got Hebrew bloodline going through Canaan or Hamitic bloodlines. They're mixing, okay? Esau's, he was a Hebrew and not an Israelite, mixed with Hamites, okay? Mixed with Hamites. So now you got Hamite blood and you also have Edomite blood mixing together. That's why I keep telling y'all, You keep thinking ain't no black folk walking around here. That's no doggone Edomites. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, man. Yeah, let's roll here, okay? But after defeating them, Esau's descendants assimilated them through marriage. Joseph, Mary, and Jesus, or Yeshua in Egypt or Mizraim. Matthew chapter number 2, 13 through 14. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Elohim appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. So we already know that Egypt is already established with melanated people. It's some mixed colored people there as well and things like that. Some of them high yellow, but also some of them are dark melanated and some of them are pecan tan. So you got 3 shades going on in Egypt around that time. All right. And then you also had some of the Greeks, all right, who were around that time, who probably were dwelling in the land as well. All right. Now let's get an understanding of this red thing, okay? Because this seems like to be the issue that's tripping folk up. Genesis 25 and 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Came out red, not red and hairy, but came out red like a hairy garment, talking about the hair, not the skin. All right. Now let's look at the same word of red. Numbers 19 and 2. This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord hath commanded, saying, speak unto the children of Israel that they bring thee a red heifer. The heifer skin ain't red. The heifer hair is red. Okay? Red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. All right? Edomites amongst Israelites. Now let's get this understood here. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, send thou men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. And Moses, by the commandment of the Lord, sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were heads of the children of Israel. And those were their names: of the tribe of Reuben, Shammua, the son of Zakur; of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, the son of Hori; and of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. So we already see right here, you got Caleb, okay, which people don't really talk too much about. They always talk about Jacob, but Caleb went in the land too. But it has Caleb listed here of the tribe of Judah. But let's see, is Caleb of the tribe of Judah, or, because we need to make sure we have to understand that Caleb's father is Jephunneh. So let's see if Caleb, okay, is actually of the tribe of Judah. So let's roll. Let's go into the Hebrew word, okay, the Hebrew origin, or H3312, okay, derived from, which is the origin of this, comes from H6437. That's the word origin, but the biblical usage is Jephunneh, okay? Now let's look at this. Definition of Jephunneh. Jephunneh, he will be facing a Kenizzite and father of Caleb the spy from the tribe of Judah, son of Jether, and descendant of Asher. So let's look at this. So let's go back and let's see who his father was. Jephunneh's father was a Kenizzite. Here we go. Genesis 36, 9 through 11. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau; Ruel, the son of Bashmath, the wife of Esau; and the son of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gotham, and Kenaz. So we know that Kenaz birthed the Kenizzites. So guess what? Caleb was not actually from the tribe of Judah. He was not an Israelite, but Caleb was an Edomite under the tribe of Judah, because Jephunneh, his father is Kenaz, whose father is Esau, which makes Kenaz an Edomite, which makes Jephunneh an Edomite, which makes Caleb an Edomite. Okay, so now let's roll. Edom in Egypt. So let's look and see, was the Edomites in Egypt? 1 Kings 11:14 through 17. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. Hadad the Edomite. Hold on, let's go back. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. So you got Edomites in Egypt. Now, how all these white folks, supposed white folks, living in Egypt during this time? Okay, let's roll. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom. That Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child. Now look at this. I want y'all to pay attention to this foolishness here, okay? It's the same way we read where people try to say Christ was white and he went and hid in Egypt. Now, if Esau is white and Esau's children is white, how in the world are they going to hide from the Israelites in Egypt when we know black folks are in Egypt? How in the world are the Edomites going to hang out and dwell there as a place of safety in Egypt, away from the Israelites? They're going to stick out like a sore thumb, unless they knew that they can go hide in Egypt because they look like everybody else that lived in Egypt. See, you can't use it one way for Yeshua. He went and hid in Egypt because him and his mother and his spiritual father, okay, or father was given to him, all right? They went and hid in Egypt because they looked like the Egyptians, and then turn around and say that the Edomites went into Egypt, okay, and hid in Egypt, but they don't look like the people that live in Egypt. This is what I be talking about, man. You can't use the scripture for one thing, and then when it comes to another group of people, they do the same thing the Israelites do, and then you try to say that they white. No, you can't say the Edomites are white hiding in Egypt and they can get away with it, versus you can't say that Yeshua is melanated and went and hide in Egypt because he looked just like the Egyptians. Either Yeshua looked like the Egyptians and Edomites looked like the Egyptians, or Yeshua was white and the Edomites were white, and both of them stuck out like sore thumbs in Egypt. That's the only way you can say that. That's the only way you can say that. Okay, so let's move here. All right, Edomite inheritance. Since brothers be like, oh, ain't no salvation for the Edomites. Ain't no salvation. See, the problem what we misunderstand is that the Most High can preserve who he want to preserve. And he the Most High killed off a whole lot of Israelites and kept some Israelites. And we fail to realize this, man, because we don't want to accept scripture for what it is. We're going to get into it right here. So Joshua 14:13 through 14. And Joshua blessed him, this time about Caleb, and gave unto Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, Hebron for an inheritance. Hebron therefore became the inheritance of Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite. Not the son of Jephunneh, the Judite. It says the son of Jephunneh, okay, the Kenizzite. Why does it keep going back to Kenizzite? Why do you don't in script, you don't see nothing talking about Joshua in it. You don't see it say Joshua, the Ephraimite. You don't see them saying Joshua that. You don't see them saying, but for some reason they keep putting the tag, on to Caleb's name, making sure you know that his father is Jephthah and making sure you know that he's a Kenizzite. If he was an Israelite, it don't need to say Caleb, the son of Jephthah, the Kenizzite. It would just say Caleb. But it's making sure you understand there's a difference. Okay, unto this day, because that he wholly followed the Lord God of Israel, meaning he was obedient to keeping the commandments. He was obedient to following and keeping the commandments of the Most High. That's why he got a possession. You don't get a possession or an inheritance if you disobedient. You don't get an inheritance if you're not keeping the Most High commandments. You ain't doing that foolishness. Come on. Ezekiel chapter number 47, 22 through 23. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you and to the strangers, okay, that sojourn among you, which shall begot children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. So these particular strangers, or some translations may say foreigner, there are three different understandings of foreigner, okay? One of them, okay, understanding of foreigner is someone who has pretty much come amongst you and have denied their pagan ways, okay? Denied their pagan ways and following the ways instructed that was given to Moses for the children of Israel. Then you have another one that's a foreigner, someone who is dangerous to you because they are pagan and because they have pagan ways. Those type of folks can't come amongst Israel and bring their pagan practices with them and dwell amongst Israel. That's why the Most High said the one that you treat as your brother, as an Israelite, he is the one who is obedient and living like you. If he ain't living like you, then therefore you can't consider him your brother, nor can you give him a great welcome into the family. Okay? Can't give a great welcome into the family. So let's roll. Look what it says. And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, listen to this, it shall come to pass that in what tribe, so whatever tribe that accepts this stranger or this foreigner, that is the tribe that he is listed under. This is why it says that Caleb was of the tribe of Judah. Not that he was a blood descendant of Judah, is that Judah is who accepted him into the family, okay? Accepted him to the family. So look what it says right here. And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him his inheritance, saith the Elohim of Yah. Okay, this is exactly what's supposed to happen. So therefore, we don't sit up there and say, if there's a brother that's a foreigner or a stranger, or if you want to deal with the Greek or the New Testament and call him a Gentile, okay, we don't, when we have brothers like that, we don't say, this is my Gentile brother. Hey, you know what? Hey, you know, everybody except our Gentile brother. No, we don't say that type of terminology in Boom. We don't say that. No, this is our brother. He is living according to what the scriptures say. He is doing what the Most High, and we're going to follow the scripture. The scripture tells us that if he's a foreigner and he sojourns amongst us and he's living like us, he is our brother and we're to treat him as such. Which means when we get an inheritance and a blessing in Boom, he get a part blessing too. He get a blessing too. But these folks don't want to do that. They got their own agendas running around here. There shall ye give him his inheritance. So fast forward. We go down to Cornelius. What was Cornelius doing? It said that he was a devout man, which means he was living like an Israelite. So therefore, obviously, the Most High gonna send somebody to give him salvation. Because if he's living like an Israelite, Israel needed salvation. So therefore, anybody that's outside of Israel living like an Israelite, they get salvation too. This ain't a new thing that's going on in the Brit Hadashah. This thing was going on, all right, in the Pentateuch. This thing was going on in the so-called Old Testament. This thing was going on in the Torah. This thing was going on in the Tanakh. This thing was been going on. We act like it's a new thing. It ain't nothing new. This is not nothing new. Excuse me. Now, another thing, we're almost about done here, that I want to deal with. I'm so sick and tired of y'all throwing Amos in my face. I'm so sick and tired of y'all throwing one chapter of Amos in my face. Okay? I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of this foolishness. I don't know what to do. And this is the problem. It's called the book of Amos, which means you read the book. You don't turn around and read what you want to read in the book and then build a doctrine around it. Okay? Read the Bible. Read the book. Okay? And when you do read it, make sure you read all of it. Eat the book. Okay? Please eat the book and stop all this foolishness. Amos 9:8 through 12. Look what it says. Behold, the eyes of Elohim, or behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom. So the Most High watching, he watching wickedness. All right. 1 Corinthians 5, Paul even tells you, Shaul tells you, okay, Shaul tells you straight up, all right, off the top, that the wicked, the Most High will judge. But those who are in the temple that it's claimed to be righteous, that we are to judge. That's what Shaul said in his letter to the Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 5. Okay, so the Most High eyes is on the sinful kingdom. He gonna take care of that. He gonna handle that. Okay, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. The Most High is the judge. He gonna destroy it because he's the righteous judge. He know who to kill. He know who not to kill. He know who's covered under ignorance, and he knows who's not ignorant. Okay, that's his job, and the Most High does his job well, saying that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations. Well, we forget about that. We forget that the Most High sifting and looking at Israel too. See, we forget about, and we don't talk about how the Most High sifting, separating, dividing, and watching and looking at Israel just as much as he looking at these sinful kingdoms. Oh, he watching everybody. Because one thing the Most High hates, he hates sin. That's what he hates. He hates sin. He hates sin from the Israelites. He hates sin from the wicked kingdom. He hates sin, period. Okay? Let's look at it here. I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Look what it says here. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Come on, let's read. All the sinners of my people shall die. Wait a minute, hold on. Let's read that again. Let's read that again. Let's read it again. Just in case you want to get arrogant, okay, let's read it again. See, we love to talk about how he going to destroy Edom, but brothers don't love to read this part of verse number 10, how Israel going to be destroyed too, okay? Look what it said. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. All the people, all of Israel. Okay, since you want to focus on the white man and everybody else, don't forget that the sword coming for you too, Israel. Look what it says. All of the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. You know how we do right here. See, that judgment, that's going to hit all the mother nations. I'm an Israelite. I'm good. No, brother. The Most High hates sin. That's what we missing. We need to really get an understanding that he hates sin. Yes, he hates all kind of other nations too that's wicked, but he also hates Israel too for sinning. And his patience ran out on the other nations, and his patience run out on Israel too. His patience runs out, period, because he hates wickedness. Okay, let's look what it says here. Which say, so don't get arrogant and say the evil should not overtake nor nor prevent us. Verse number 11, in that day, I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins and I will build it as in the days of old. Let's look what it says right here. Okay. That they may possess the remnant of Edom. See, brothers, friends, see, they're going to possess. See, we're going to possess. You're going to be my slave. That's what, you don't understand what possession means. Okay. Hagar was a possession, okay, of Abraham. What, the last time I checked, we just read Genesis by Hagar. Hagar became a wife. Hagar bore a son, and the Most High was with Ishmael too. So can you show me and give me a reference at any time in Israel where the Most High had Israelites whipping folks with chains and shackling folk up? I'm trying to find this. I can't find it at all in the scriptures. I can't find this stuff. I can't find this stuff. But I'm just really trying to find this stuff in scripture. We don't have a reference point of what possession actually means. Possession means ownership, but it is not based off the carnal sense of what you thinking. Okay, so let's look at this. Hagar was also blessed. Okay, she was living very well. She was not a side chick. Okay, and all this other stuff. All right, that's the point that people failing to realize. But let's look at this. Keep reading here. All right, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen which are called by my name. See that right there ought to tell you right there. That ought to tell you, clear up your thought process of anything carnal about some form of slavery. Because the Most High said these Edomites and these other heathens who are outside of Israel, they are called by his name. And if anybody's called by the Most High name, that means that these folks are doing something that the Most High is pleased with. Okay, so we need to stop this other foolishness that these folks is talking about out here. You don't be called by the Most High's name if you wicked. Okay, that don't make no sense. It makes no sense at all. Okay, so let's keep reading here. Verse number 12. They shall possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. All right, so let's go. Let's keep reading. Let's go back to antiquity of the Jews. All right, we're going to go to Flavius Josephus, and we're going to look at this right here. All right, so let's roll. Let's go into Flavius Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews. All right, and let's look at these Idumeans or Edomites or Idumeans in the Greek, and let's look at the Edomites here. This account of the Idumeans admitting circumcision and the entire Jewish law. Wait a minute, hold on. Let's stop right here. I want y'all to pay attention to what this just said here, okay? Look at what this says. This account of the Idumeans admitting circumcision and the entire Jewish law from this time or from the days of Hyrcanus is confirmed by their entire history afterwards. This, in the opinion of Josephus, made them proselytes of justice, okay? And y'all know what proselytes are. So let's keep reading. Or entire Jews, as here or and somewhere. However, Antigonus, the enemy of Herod, though Herod were derived from such a proselyte of justice for several generations, will allow him to be no more than half Jew. So according to Josephus, the Herod that came later on during the time of Yeshua was a half Jew, okay? But still, take out of Dean Prideaux at the year 129 the words of Amoius, a grammarian, which fully confirmed this account of the Idumeans in Josephus. The Jews, the quote unquote Jews, says he are such by nature, and from the beginning, whilst the Idumeans were not Jews. So here's the thing. This is telling you that the Idumeans by nature were not Jews, okay? But earlier on in the read, it says that they became pretty much convert or proselytes, which means they took on the whole Jewish custom and heritage, living like Israelites. And we see that in Torah, where it talks about the foreigner or the stranger, okay, that dwells amongst Israel. But Phoenicians, so it says here that the Idumeans also were amongst the Phoenicians and Syrians, but being afterwards subdued by the Jews and compelled to be circumcised. So who circumcised the Idumeans? It was the Israelites who circumcised the Idumeans, and to unite into one nation. So it was the Jews, the Israelites, who not only circumcised them, but also brought them in according to Torah, making them be a part of the nation of Israel and be subject to the same laws. They were called Jews, okay? So let's keep reading. That country is called Judea, and the people Jews. And this name is given also to as many others as embrace their religion. So whoever, whatever nation you were, you embrace the religion of the Israelites, that means you were also considered a part of the house of Israel as a whole, though other nations. But then upon what foundation so good as governor as Hyrcanus, listen what Hyrcanus does. Hyrcanus took upon him to compel those Idumeans either to become Jews or to leave the country. Even Hyrcanus, the governor of the Idumeans, he told all the Edomites, if you don't want to become an Israelite, if you don't want to accept the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, if you don't want to keep Torah, if you don't want to live according to what's being laid down by the Israelites, then get out of the country. You can't be a part of what we got going on, because now we're about to unify. And we got to become proselytes to Israel and be a part of Israel. I suppose it was because they had long ago been driven out of the land of Edom and had seized on, excuse me, and seized on and possessed the tribe of Simeon and all the southern parts of the tribe of Judah, which was the peculiar inheritance of the worshipers of the true God without idolatry. Okay, idolatry. Let's keep rolling. So the Edomites stopped becoming idolaters, stopped living like pagans, and they started living like Israelites. And the Israelites accepted them as Israelites. And if you also do further history, okay, if you also do further history, you'll also find out that during the time of 70 AD, that the Romans who had rulership over the Israelites, you're going to find out that, there were different clans of people fighting against the Romans. It was the Sicarii that was fighting the Romans. It was also those that were a part of the nation of Israel, who was also fighting some of the rioters and some of the uprisers. They were fighting with the Sicarii. And also you're going to find out that the Idumeans had a band of crew of people that was fighting with the Sicarii and fighting with the Israelites against the Romans. So guess what? Those who accepted the Israelites' custom and ways became Israelites, which means that those people who lived like Israelites became proselytes. They also not only accepted the blessings, but they also accepted the curses, which means furthermore, Josephus even tells you that when they went into slavery, not only did the Israelites go into slavery and get dispersed in the four corners of the earth, but also the Edomites who accepted the covenant, accepted the blessings and the curses, they were on ships and scattered with them. Those are facts. So I tell you, study to show yourself approved, brothers and sisters. And with that, I'm done. Shalom.